Hey everyone, I am coming at you live today because I got an email a couple days ago from somebody, and I realized that this is a really super easy mistake for somebody to make who's new to goats. And I want to talk about this. And that is, I got an email from a student of mine. She sent me an email and she said, my goat's been in labor for 2 days and she seems uncomfortable, like real, not very, nothing sounded bad. And actually I get this all the time. Like this was her first goat. She'd never had a goat in labor before. So all the time I get this. People think their goat is in labor for days before it is really in labor. I made the same mistake myself for several years. For my first 3 or 4 kidding seasons, I would think a doe was in labor for days before she really was. And I called it wishing them into labor. It's like you want those kids so much, and so you're like, oh no, she's in labor, and she's really not. So anyway, this seemed like you're just seemed like the average first time goat mom, thinking my goat's been in labor for 2 days. And my first response was just to reassure her, no, your goat's not in labor for 2 days. That's impossible. Um, you would, she's just uncomfortable. Like goats are uncomfortable at the end of pregnancy, just like women are uncomfortable at the end of pregnancy. The fact that she, stands up, lays down, turns around, like it's just hard to get comfortable at the end of pregnancy. And then she also mentioned that she's not interested in food in the next email. And then she said, did you see the video I attached to my last email? And I didn't, because I had looked at it on my phone, and on your phone the attachments are below the message, and so I didn't see. I got to the end of her message, I saw her name, and I hit reply, and I didn't realize there was a video there. So I went back and I found the video and I watched it, and as soon as I saw the video I was like, oh my god, this goat is in trouble. This goat is not in labor. This goat is very sick and needs a vet right now. And I wrote back and said, when is the last time this goat ate? And she said, she really hasn't eaten in a couple of days. Like I'm trying to hand feed her and she's just not eating. And I'm like, oh my God, that's ketosis. So a goat in labor, is like a goat that's pushing or whatever is like screaming bloody murder. This goat was laying on its side with all 4 legs outstretched, doing what I call the dead goat imitation. When you see them in the pasture like that, you're like, is that goat okay? Because she had all 4 legs sticking straight out. She was not at all stressed. She was not pushing. She was not in pain. She was just like, all her legs were just straight out. And you could hear this teeny tiny little moan. Like it looked like she had no muscle tone at all. And and here's the thing. No goat should go 2 days without eating, whether it's pregnant or not. Like I got a call one time from somebody who had a goat that was in the middle of a very painful death, like screaming bloody murder. Not pregnant, just laying there like that, all 4 legs outstretched, head down, had no muscle tone, but screaming loudly. And she's like, and she told me then, like, oh, well, the goat didn't eat last night. And it's like, you should have done something last night. Goats have a rumen. They eat all day long. And especially if you put grain in front of a goat and they don't gobble it up, something is up. Now, when a goat is in labor, it does lose its appetite, but that would mean it's in early labor, and early labor only lasts for, well, they say, the textbooks say in a first freshener, early labor can last 12 hours. I would expect that goat to keep eating though, like you might be going, I don't know, is she in labor? Is she not? But she's going to still be eating very early in labor. Once they stop eating, they really should, especially grain. Once they stop eating, you really should see a goat showing active signs of labor, making lots of noise, looking very distressed, acting distressed, pushing within, 5 or 6 hours. At that point, if they didn't, I would start to think, maybe this isn't labor, maybe this is ketosis. because, and then you can get ketone strips from the pharmacy, just like you can use the same ones that you use for humans. Please do not go buy ketone sticks and follow around your goats no. I've also gotten emails from people who are like, is this a trace? And I'm like, is your goat eating? Yes, your goat is fine. Like, do not follow your goat around with ketone sticks. Like, that's not what we're doing here. So the ketone sticks are, if you have a goat that's not eating, then you want to check and see, is she spilling ketones into her urine? Because if she is, oops, I'm sorry, somebody's bothering me here. She's not going to go away. So anyway, if you have a goat that's not eating, you need to check to see if she's spilling ketones. And in that case, then the typical treatment is some type of propylene-glycol. Now that is in Power Punch and I want to say Gatorade. It's not Gatorade. It's the goat version. I hate it. Okay, that's the problem with lives. I don't remember the name of it. Anyway, one of those solutions that's like very high in molasses and propylene-glycol. And that's really I very, very, very seldom suggest using those because they will send your goat's blood sugar skyrocketing. I know this because I once gave it to a buck and then took him to the university. And they're like, oh my God, this goat's blood sugar is like 250. What did you do? What did you give him? But if a goat is in ketosis and she's not eating, then she probably does have low blood sugar and she needs that. And if she does not respond to that, then you need a vet. Like, you need vet assistance to make sure that goat is going to be okay. And if you're wondering how this story ends, unfortunately, it does not end well. They wound up doing a C-section on the goat and delivered 2 live kids, but unfortunately the mom passed because she hadn't eaten in 2 days. Like, it's amazing to me that this goat was still alive. Like, I wouldn't have thought a goat would survive for 2 days without really eating. So yay that they got 2 live kids, but it's really, really important that know what the difference is between labor and ketosis. And it's, again, if a goat is not eating and they're in early labor, you should see serious signs of labor, like within 5 or 6 hours. If not, I would be checking her ketones to see if she's spilling ketones into her urine. And if so, treat with like Power Punch or one of those other things, the molasses looking things that you can find at the farm store, and or call your vet. If you're really worried about her, call your vet, especially just like the more lethargic the goat is, the quicker I would call the vet. If it's just like, she's not eating and she's like, her ketones in her urine is only like a 1 or a 2. I might treat first with some Power Punch and see if that helps. If not, if it doesn't help fairly quickly, I would be calling the vet. And like in this lady's case, I said, if you have something like Power Punch there, give it to her and call the vet right away. Like basically because I wanted her to get those calories and electrolytes and everything into the goat as quickly as possible. And then, like right now, like I don't want you to wait 15 or 20 minutes even, because it's been 2 days since this goat really ate. So definitely pay attention to that. If you've got any questions that I'll post in the comments section below. Thanks everyone. And if you're in the middle of kidding season, we have 1 doe left to kid. And she's due she hit 145 days yesterday, or no, Thursday. So she's 147 days today. So we should have our last kidding sometime this weekend. Hope everyone's kidding season is going well. If you've got questions, post in the comment section below. Bye for now. Oh, and I'm also going to post links to our podcast with Dr. Van Son on ketosis and also hypocalcemia, because hypocalcemia is another possibility. This goat might have also probably in hypocalcemia at this point too, because once one of those happens, it can sometimes trigger the other one if it's not treated quickly enough. So I'm going to put links to both of those in the, I don't think it's going to let me edit on Facebook, but I'll put them in the, we'll edit the description on YouTube for sure and add it to that. Happy kidding season, everyone. Bye.